Hi everyone, so I'm back again, and this time I'm going to show you how to make a Calla lily, or how I make a Calla lily I should say. So just get back down to my board. And here we have the cutters for a Calla lily. Now the two things that you need to do, it's only a two-part flower is this, so they're fairly easy to make. The first thing you need to make is the centre for your Calla lily. Now I've done some here that I've already done, and I've coloured these in a creamy colour and then with a pinky colour edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by making the centre for the lily, and because it's a one stem flower, for most one stem flowers we use a 20 gauge wire. So I'm going to cut that into three. For those that haven't seen my videos before, these are florist scissors, they're not normal scissors, so don't use your normal scissors for doing this. Use a pair of pliers with a cutting edge. So like with most things that we put on a single wire, we're going to put a hook on the end of the wire. Get some flour paste now for that. Now you could put it on a straight wire if you wanted, but remember, if you're putting it on a straight wire without the hook, make sure you put glue on your wire. Start off with a ball of paste about the size of a small Malteser. Roll that into a bit of a sausage and then put your wire into that. Pull the wire quite well down because you want the top part of it to be quite narrow. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll the top part of the cone into an elongated cone like that. And then what I've done, because I found that the petals fit better, is to roll the bottom part fairly narrow as well, because that's where I'm going to attach the petals to the bottom part there. This is a bit bigger than I've done on the other one. You can make that a little bit smaller. Depends on the size of cutter you're going to use. I've got one here that I've already dried. So the next thing we need to do is we need to put some pollen on, because in your centre of your lily there you can see the cone which has got the pollen on. That's where the bees do all their work. So here I've got some pollen that I've made. Now if you watch the next video that I'm going to do, I'm going to actually show you how to make the pollen in that one, but basically all it is ground rice, which I've got here I've got some in a tub here. Anything that's found like that, or ground rice, semolina. You could even use ground almonds, because that's fine enough as well, but that's a bit of an expensive way of doing it. But whatever you've got in your cupboard, if that's all you've got, use that. And all I've done is I've mixed some powder colour yellow in here for the case of this particular one. Most of the arum lilies have got a yellow centre. Apart from, there's a few years ago, it was a wedding exhibition and we saw a really deep burgundy one, almost black. The pollen in that is the same colour as the flower. So it's a good idea to get books from your garden centre or anything like that. Any online plant growers or whatever send catalogues out. And there you can have a look at the colours and you can study for yourself. Or if you can get hold of the actual flower, that's even better. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to coat the top part of that cone down to the thick part, not the bottom part here, just down to the cone there, down to that line with glue. Then put that into your pollen, roll that around. So you've covered all of that part of the centre with your pollen. Pop that to one side. Now normally I would let that dry, but I haven't got time to do that in this video, so we're going to crack on. So I'm going to use the largest one out of this. You can do smaller ones. You go down to really tiny ones of these, but I wouldn't recommend doing that one. That's a bit too small. But it depends on what you're going to use it for, as to what size you're going to do. For anybody that's interested, who is local to me, that's the Bradford, West Yorkshire area, Keighley, Bingley, Leeds or anywhere else, my friend Tracy has a cake shop in Shipley, Cakes to Please. I've probably mentioned her before. A lot of the flowers that I'm making now, the sprays and things like that, I am going to take them into the shop at some point. So if anybody would like to purchase any of the flowers that I've made in my videos, you will be able to. But please be aware they're not that cheap, because they take a long time to make. What you see me do on camera is all split down a lot of the bits and pieces I've already made. There's a lot of time and effort goes into making flowers. For anybody that's starting up, remember to time yourself and charge per hour when you're making anything. This is where a lot of the cost is on wedding cakes and that, and this sort of thing, you know. So if you're going to somebody who can make sugar flowers and things like that, then please don't expect them to do them for nothing, because it's not worth the while doing that. Right, I'm not rolling the paste too thin, but we don't need a ridge or anything like that for this particular type of petal. So get your cutter on, cut out the shape, take the excess away. What have we done with my paste? It's over there. I talk to myself when I'm doing things, so you have to bear with me. Anybody that knows me knows what I'm like. Right, so we'll take that off the board onto your pad. Now, I'm not going to bother thinning the edges for the simple reason that we're going to do the edges with something else. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start off using the silk veining tool, which is the one with all the veins in. This is a gem one. Anybody that's got the Holly Products one, that is a porcelain one. I don't use those anymore because they break too easily. I'm always dropping them on the floor. So these are plastic and they're a lot easier to use. Roll out in a fan motion from one side, from the centre again, out the other way. Make sure you follow the shape of the petal, and then, where's my other little tool gone? Yeah. With your Dresden tool, the thin end, I'm going to start at the bottom in the middle here, and I'm just going to pull a line up the centre to the central vein on that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this onto my hand, and then with your veining tool upright, go around the edge and follow the way that the veins go, and just roll it and frill the edges. The reason I'm doing this is because then when you come to curve your petals back, you'll find that they'll go in shape a lot better, so you get that curve over the edge of your petals. You might, when you're doing this, have to change fingers, because it does make your fingers quite sore when you're doing this, because you have to put a fair amount of pressure on right on the bone with your fingers. So right round the petal, down as far as you can, like that. Okay. Next step. Glue across the bottom. I'm going to go right up to where the veining starts there, and then down one side. Like that. Now then, the next step is place your base of your cone in the centre, pull that over and round the base there, and just roll it on like that. Smooth that down, and then at the base of your petal just pull that in like that. Now if you get it in between your hands like that, and then just curve your petals back all the way around like that. Then when you've done that, if you pinch the top together like that, and then curve that back like that. Now it might need some support at some point, so just make sure that that's well glued onto your centre, and then put that away somewhere to dry. You might find that it moves around a bit, so as it dries, and I'll go back to that when I've finished the colouring part, you might need that to adjust it. So I've got some paper here that I've already got the colours on that I'm using, and the colour that I'm using here is a cream. I can't remember which one this is because it's a Squire's Kitchen one, and it's all worn off the label. I've had it a long time, but there are a number of different creams that you can use in the edible art range, which I tend to use most of the time. Any of the luster creams will do. So onto your brush, off your brush. Now because I tend to make these in white for the simple reason that I find them a lot better to get more delicate colours in them. So start from the edge and brush down with the cream dust all over. The reason I use the luster colours on these is because you get that sort of waxy look when you've steamed them that you get on the actual flowers, because they are quite waxy looking. You don't have to go all the way down, go down as far as you can, the part that can be seen, and then onto the back and do the same. I'm trying to watch my camera so I stay in shot, because as you've probably found in some of my videos, I have a habit of going off shot, and I'm trying to improve on that. I try to remember to look at the camera, because unlike a lot of people, I don't have a camera person holding the camera and pointing it where it needs to be pointed when I'm doing these things. So I'm trying to do one job and do another job at the same time. So as you ladies would call it, I'm multitasking. Right, so once we've done the green, then the next step is I can go on to the pink. Now I've used the pink that I used in the last video for the orchids, the Phalaenopsis orchids, and this one is called Raspberry Shimmer, which is that one there. Turn it round so you can see it the right way up, which is a really nice pink luster. There are paler ones as well, but it's up to you what colour you use, because there's loads of different variations in Calla anyway. I just wanted to make something that looked a bit more interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to catch the very edges of the petals with this. Just missed that little bit at the top because we're going to catch that with a bit of green. Right round the edges, like that. And then go around the outer edge as well with the same. There we are, back and front. And then with my green brush, when I find it, just had hold of it, there it is. I've got some tropical lime that I'm using. I don't tend to use dark greens on these flowers, because sometimes if you do it too dark then it just looks a bit too much. So I tend to use, for anything that I'm going to do with the tips of flowers like lilies and things like that, use the tropical lime, or lime which is slightly darker. There's two different ones. Just catch the edge of the tip there like that, and then the same on the back. and then if you turn your flower upside down and just go around the bottom, because you don't have a calyx on these, so we just do a bit of green around the bottom there on that, and that's done. So then I can pipe those into a, I'm just trying to look to see how much time I've got. Yes, I've just got enough time to tape these together. Now if you want to put individual flowers on your in your sprays, what you can do is, if you get a bit of kitchen roll like this, because they've got quite fleshy stems, and this goes for a lot of flowers that have got fleshy stems, particularly a lot of the spring ones like tulips and daffodils and things like that. You just start rolling it round your wire like that and go all the way down just to thicken it up like that, just like that, as Tommy Cooper would say. And then what you can do then is get some full width tape and then go over the top of it then with the full width tape. So you've got a thicker, more fleshy stem on your flower, and then you can tape them into a spray then. So if you use the same tape again, put a few of these together. I might just put 3 in this spray because we always put odd numbers in, so just bend that up a little bit so we don't catch the edge of it. And then put another one in down there. Make sure you keep your tape really tight, and don't forget to pull your wires in when you're doing sprays so that they don't move around, because if they do move around, it's because you haven't got your flowers right down to the wire. Then tape down, and there we have a stem with 3 of the lilies on it. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video, which is not going to be too long because now Christmas is over. I'm getting into the move now. So the next flower that I'm going to do in the next video, I'm going to show you now because I've already made a sample up. I'm going to do a parrot tulip, which is this one here. So come back and see how I do that one, and in this one I'm going to show you how to make the pollen, which I've used on the stamens in this flower, and to show you that it is correct. That's a picture of the real one, that's mine. So come back for the next video and see how I make the parrot tulip. Speak to you all soon, stay safe and enjoy your day.